The show begins when a fog sets in and Shep Clark, a sailor, encounters something strange in the midst of the fog. He goes missing after this. This event is followed by an earthquake. The next day, the town is already filled with rumors, fear, and speculation. The sheriff informs the mayor, Tom Loftus, that Shep is missing and relays the intent of the harbor master to shut down all operations. Wick, who seems to be a crazy old man but maybe is not so crazy, also wants the whole place to be locked down. All this is unacceptable to Tom, who is expecting a writer from the New York Times to visit the island today, as he eyes an opportunity to welcome tourists to this secluded island in the summer and boost the local economy. But the writer arrived ahead of time anyway, so his tour of the place begins at the Historical Society, a place littered with pieces of the island's history. This island really loves paintings. All these paintings might turn out to be clues at the end of the day. We also see pictures of all the strange occurrences that are said to have happened in the town. Jerry says a lot of men used to leave their wives and go on whaling expeditions that sometimes lasted for years, and most of them never came back. Maybe that's why the island is called Widow's Bay. We also learned that the settlement was formed when 42 passengers set off at sea to find a new settlement, although Jerry insists that it was 43, as the local folklore says. They arrived on an island that was empty except that it was littered with teeth. They even had witch trials in the past. Now keep that in mind as we progress through the show. Tom is having issues with his adopted teenage son, who is, well, being a teenager, keeping late nights, all the usual stuff. Tom met his mother when she was pregnant for him, and they speak of her in the past tense, so we can assume that something already happened to her. Wick, this supposedly crazy and superstitious old man, insists on Tom shutting down everything and stopping the plan to bring tourists, as he feels that something more sinister is afoot in this cursed town of Widow's Bay. He wants him to sound the sirens that were last sounded in the 1940s.
It already took Shep, and it'll take the rest of us tonight.
One thing to note is that Wick said it would take the rest of us tonight, but we know that that never happened at the end of the day. Was he just being indirect, or is no one really aware of how exactly the evil entity works, or what it even is? Is there one entity, or is the island plagued by many evils? Is the island the evil itself that seeks to consume its inhabitants? Tom is reluctant, so Wick sounds the alarm by himself. He tells Tom that the quake and the fog were signals that the island was waking up, along with the dark forces in it. He gives him other signs to expect. We also establish that Wick thinks Tom is too much of a coward to be a leader. Just then, Shep Clark resurfaces, collapses, and is taken to the hospital, where we see that, contrary to Tom's belief, he wasn't drunk the night he went missing. One interesting thing to note is Shep Clark's age being listed as 37. For someone who looked that old, that is a mystery that will surely be explained. Patricia also says,
I learned my biological age is 28.
But maybe some people's ages aren't what they seem on this island. Maybe people like Wick have been here longer, and that's why he knows more than most. Or maybe he and Rosemary are just older and more given to believing the town's superstitions. Most people who talk about strange things on the show are older anyway. In the hospital, Shep starts to mutter something, his eyes turn white, just like Wick's pictures, before he dies while trying to strangle Tom. As with every horror or thriller, Tom soldiers on with his plan, pushing all the warnings aside, and ultimately chooses to ignore his own newly awakened suspicions of the island. But these suspicions may not be so new, as we will see in later episodes. He meets up with the writer, who is ready to write the article about the mysterious island. The writer quizzes him about the superstition that people born on the island cannot leave. He also confirms the story about the people who left the island and died within a short period. While at dinner, Tom becomes afraid because he now thinks that there's something in the fog.
Wait! There's something in the fog!
But it turns out to be nothing. Or is it really nothing? Again, we are left with questions. We wonder if there's any real danger, or is the real theme here just the fear of danger amplified by superstitions? Some sort of shared paranoia. The episode ends with the camera panning 2 stories down beneath the salty whale to what looks like some sort of torture chamber or prison meant to hold someone or something dangerous. The lights are on, which means that someone is tending to this place, or at least someone is responsible for keeping it in good conditions. Now again, our suspicion is renewed that something more sinister is afoot. We see this sign before Tom goes into the restroom. Don't give up the ship. Don't give up the ship is a famous naval battle phrase from early American history, originated with Captain James Lawrence of the American warship USS Chesapeake during the War of 1812, In 1813, after being mortally wounded, Lawrence reportedly gave the dying command, "Don't give up the ship." A movie with the same name was made in 1959. The film follows a naval officer who wakes up after World War II with memory loss and discovers that he may have accidentally lost an entire destroyer escort ship belonging to the US Navy. Now, in the later part of the film, characters dive underwater to investigate the fate of the missing USS Kornblatt. During the dive, the movie includes exaggerated comic dangers, nitrogen narcosis, underwater confusion, and a hungry kraken. Nitrogen narcosis itself could cause people to hallucinate and see a kraken. Now, if we go back to the display at the historical center, we see what looks like a kraken on display. There is a newspaper cutout which also suggests that there were strange occurrences that preceded the famous storm, kind of what we're witnessing right now. In an earlier scene, Tom, while anticipating the arrival of tourists in the summer, opens up a wolf-themed calendar. Except on the most important month of July, when tourism was supposed to begin, there is a picture of a car upside down instead of wolves. Subsequent episodes would then take place in July. Honorable mention to Patricia, who seems to always be there to help Tom at all times and is a major part of the comedy in this TV show.
We have to show this man a good time.
What are you asking me to do, Tom?
Let me know what you observed and if there's anything I've missed. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.